back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin, Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein. And we are here at the beginning of February. The Phillies are reporting to spring training very, very soon.
2 weeks, Colin.
And 2 weeks. And there is not that much for us to talk about. But you know us, we're going to break it down. Because when there's not much going on, that usually means that we've got a lot to complain about. I think that's what's on our agenda for today. Haven't actually taken a look at it yet. That's
true.
By the way,
That's
Ben
true.
knows that. But there's definitely some topics to talk about. The Phillies are going into the season a little differently than I think a lot of us expected. After I'm going to call it an expectedly underwhelming offseason. We talked about it a lot in our last episode, so we're not going to bore you with those details too much again. But Ben, now that we can say that we've solidified this roster, right? Like when on our last episode we talked about, okay, what can they still do? How can we recover from what has been a mediocre offseason so far? I don't think it's going to be any controversial topic to say we didn't get anywhere, right? I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, this is
cut and dry.
Off season's pretty much over for the Philadelphia Phillies unless they go out and maybe get a back in a rotation rental arm for a couple once and just ride with it if just in case they need something. But you're pretty much looking at the roster. There's a couple ifs, maybe a spot in the bullpen, last spot on the bench, or some unimportant. There is a spot in the rotation that we're going to talk about in a little bit that could be filled. But I mean, you're pretty much looking at your open day roster, and it's looking eerily similar, if not a little worse than it was just a year ago.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any argument that it could be better. There's been really no new significant signings. You've Dulce Garcia. That's really it in terms of significant signings when you're losing guys like Harris and Bader. Zach Wheeler is going to start the season, spend the majority of the season on the injured list. Ranger Suarez is gone. Who else? There's a lot of guys from the bullpen aren't returning. So Matt Strahm, the most notable. It's not good, Ben. I mean, that's the bottom line. Let's dive into, while we're talking about the things we know, let's talk about another year of our buddy over at the hot corner. I think that's a good place to start today because we talked about all the subtractions, the very, very few additions. We got our constant is Alec Bohm. He'll be returning to the Phillies lineup for another year. He's had an interesting last 2 years. So 2024, right? Because 2026, that's a kind of weekend.
That's how
long weekend I've had. Yeah. It's 2024. It's 2026. In 2024.
We're in 2026.
Jeez, man. Jeez.
We are in 2026 right now. But 2024, I'll tell you, he had a very good season. The regular season. They had a very good regular season up until about September. He gets hurt. Oh, postseason's terrible. 2025, kind of like a weird year. I mean, still kind of pretty solid at the plate. Defense was okay, and then he goes back to the playoffs. He's horrible again. And now we're going into another year where Alec Bohm is your starting third baseman and your cleanup hitter in the lineup, Colin, which really doesn't seem suitable again, but we're doing it again.
Yeah, so my issue is mainly Bryce Harper needs more protection. It's just not, I mean, yeah, they might experiment putting Adolis Garcia in the 4-hole. Sure. I'll buy it for a week, maybe 2. But let's be honest, he's had one good season his whole career. And again, I'm not going to bore anyone again with these details because we've talked about it. I have more hope in him than I had in Max Kepler this time last year, but it is not that much of a margin of difference. I think he's a good power bat, but he doesn't fit the profile of what this team needed with their offseason acquisitions because you're losing a guy like Harrison Bader, who's a good defender in the outfield. He's quick. He's a high average, can get some extra base hits. He's not going to set the home run record, but he meshed with the lineup nicely, in my opinion. So I don't think that the Garcia signing is really going to fill the gap that the Phillies were trying to avoid. So, and I also don't think he's going to last in the cleanup role because I don't think he's going to be that good a hitter. He's had, like I said, he's had one good year. I think it was 2023 when he had, the crazy home run numbers and the decent average in OPS. Every other year, the power numbers are okay, but everything else is very much below par.
Well, I mean, I think I said this in the last episode that I threw out this stat, but there were 6 different cleanup hitters in 2025 for the Phillies. Nick Castellanos had the most at 50 games. As a team, typically with Harper right behind or right in front at number 3. As a team from the 4-hole spot, the Phillies hit 242 with a 312 on base and a 408 slug and a 720 OPS. Like, that is just, how do you have a $300 million roster with no cleanup hitter? And it's a problem that they've had since 2019 when they brought in Bryce Harper. Like, they haven't had a cleanup hitter that can sit behind him and give you constant production and force you to have to pitch to Harper. And it's going to be another year. We saw it last year. I'm going to see it again this season where teams are not going to mind pitching to Harper because, well, there's nobody behind him that really scares you. And it's been what kills him in the postseason, and it's going to continue in the regular season. And a lot of things he can point it on, but it's going to be Bohm probably manning that spot at least on opening day, March 26th, is the assumption. But no matter who it is with this lineup, you don't really feel good unless it's Schwarber. But then you got a hole of 2 and you figure things out. So it's tough what they got right now, Colin. It's tough.
Yeah, it definitely is. And like I said, it doesn't give this lineup the rigidity it needs. Because and like I do think Bohm is going to get opportunities in the cleanup hole this year. And like you said before, he hasn't shown me one full length year of viable cleanup hitter. I'm not comfortable putting him in that role to start the season, but let's be honest, we're not comfortable putting anybody in that role to start the season. When I think back to his last 2 years, he had that very up and down year in 2024. Last season, like you said, he was good and he solved the consistency problem, right? That was the issue we saw in 24. He was starting third baseman on the National League All-Star team and then was average at best in his overall stat line for the season come October. He figured out the consistency, how to balance first half, second half a year later, but that balance isn't the caliber we're looking for, which is where I'm kind of at a loss.
That OPS, by the way, of 720 in the 4-hole, 20th last season in the major leagues. The only teams behind you is Cincinnati, Kansas City, Boston, Chicago White Sox, Cleveland, Houston, Texans.
Oh my God.
Colorado, San Francisco, and Pittsburgh.
That's terrible.
Those were
the second, third highest payroll.
Yeah, those are 9 of the worst lineups in baseball. Maybe outside, Boston made the play, or Boston.
Yeah, Houston's not bad. But...
San Francisco, not terrible. Houston, but those are other than that. And when you have a payroll of $300 million, it's really hard to fathom. But this is what they got, and a lot of things go by it. Maybe they have someone in the farm system that can come up and fill that hole at third base. Maybe we could talk about it. I don't know.
We're gonna talk about it.
But it could have been Eugenio Suarez. That could have been a possible substitution. He went to the Reds on Sunday, signed a 1-year, $15 million deal. So could have been a deal that the Phillies could have matched. I mean, that's not a ridiculous amount of money for a guy that was an all-star starter last year. So.
Yeah, Ben. So let's talk about what's potentially to come. You mentioned do you want to stick at
which
third
prospect
base?
do we want to start with?
I think we gotta say third base, right? I mean, that's right. We're there, right? This reminds me. Have you ever watched like MLB corner. Network and they have like the fake field set up? I don't remember what show that is.
I know what you're talking
about. That's like us right now. We're just walking around to different positions and criticizing. So we're at third base. Then we're going to walk over to center field, then to the pitcher's mound, take our trip around the field. So that's where we're at right now. But yeah, we're third base.
We should do like a pod like on like a baseball field. And we just like
that would be
walk
awesome.
Around like
what if
let's complain about each position and we'll just walk around the diamond.
Stereotypes for each position. That'll get us nice and canceled.
Yeah, the people might not like that though. mean, you got
That's
good
true.
insight. You're the catcher, so
I
only
see it
good
all.
things coming.
Well, actually, that's such a lie. That is the biggest myth of all time. I'm not paying attention to anything other than that ball coming at me. But I digress. That would be fun. You know what we could do? We could do like Matt Strom, how he does like he opens his baseball cards in different stadiums. We could
We'll
just do
open a baseball
pods in
card
like
at a different.
random.
We'll
No,
do
we
a
just do
pod.
pod in
Yeah,
random places all the time.
yeah. Maybe one day we'll be at Citizens Bank Park. The next day we could be in Reading.
No, we're just going to random spots. Like I think we just show up at like a random restaurant and just set up shop there and go at it. Next time we could
Yeah,
be like sitting
maybe
on a park bench. Who knows?
we're at Angelo's Pizza. We're right outside eating cheesesteak, and
That's a good solution. We could do. Ooh, we should do like going to all. Now I'm really in the weeds here, but we go to like all these different stadiums, but they can't be baseball stadiums. We have to go to like a cricket stadium.
well, that would
Like, how
require some
strange would
travel.
that be?
Yeah, that would require
It's
a lot of
okay.
travel. That
Do
I
you have a
currently don't.
passport?
I do have a passport.
There you go.
I don't have
We're
money to go.
set.
I don't have money to travel to Europe right now,
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm also a little short in that category, but
which is very important. Anyway, Aiden Miller.
he's not short on that category.
No,
He's got plenty.
21 years old. He's a shortstop and a third baseman. He was the 23rd ranked prospect in this year's preseason rankings. Regarded as the best infield prospect for the Phillies since Mike Schmidt. That feels a little like wrong because Phillies had Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley go through their system, so not really too sure about that one.
Can we really quickly touch on how much we hyped up Scott Kingery?
That's true. We did
$24 million before he stepped in a Major League Baseball field.
JP Crawford got a lot of hype as well. So
oh my God. Even Hoskins.
A lot of that feeds back to, I wrote about it earlier in the week. Like the Phillies, they're like most of their team has come from trade or free agent, mostly free agency, which is where all the high payroll is. And also you got $82.6 million bottled up between Colin Walker and Nick Castellanos.
Mm-hmm.
But, like the Phillies, their farm system isn't horrible. Like they have a top 15 farm. It's really headed by the top three: Andrew Painter, Jesse Crawford, and Miller. But they've been so reluctant to move those three and get some sort of other talent. It's really halted them from making big moves and winning moves and doing things at the deadline or whatever. Like, you can pay for players. A way to cut payroll is by trading. Like, you make some trades. You don't have to sign all these guys later. But the Phillies' reluctancy to move these three, like you look at the 2000s teams: Utley, Howard, Rollins, Hamels, Ryan Madsen, Carlos Ruiz, Brett Myers. All of those guys were homegrown. Phillies right now, they got Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, Orion Kirkland, Rafael Marchand, and Otto Kemp. And Johan Rojas are the ones that have came up since and been kind of a mainstay in the last, since Aaron Nola.
Yeah, and for a couple of those guys, mainstays
problem.
even a stretch, right? I mean, Rojas has been up and down all the time, not getting consistent playing time in the major leagues. Low average, overrated defense. Somehow is really fast, but gets caught stealing all the time. Now I feel like I'm just spewing out hate, but
I look at it,
trend.
There's been a lack of development, and it leads to the Phillies' lack of flexibility, which is why the Phillies didn't go out and get a Bo Bichette. That's why they didn't go out and get the Japanese pitchers and infielders, and it's that's where the Phillies are at. It's why they're running it back again. It's because of their inability to develop and have to sign guys to big contracts. But I digress.
Well, no, because you know what? People think that the Dodgers just throw money at problems. And I'm not going to lie. There is partial truth to that. But you cannot be as successful as they are without also having at minimum, competent farm system.
And they're one of the top ones too. And
they are. They're not the best.
No, they're one of the best. Top.
But they're toward the top. They're in the top. I'd say they're in the top 10. You don't need to be in the top 3 or even the top 5, but you need to be better than average. You can't just throw money at problems. The Mets are the same way. The Mets just bring up these guys. Same way in terms of the Phillies. They've brought up all these guys who don't pan out the way they're expecting, and they sign these other big bats or big arms to try to fill in these gaps. But ultimately, like I said, you can't just throw money at these problems. The Dodgers throw money at some problems, but to put it, I fear oversimplified, they don't have as many problems as teams like the Phillies and the Mets who get nothing out of their farm system. This is also probably like the most primitive example of like causation and correlation are not the same thing, but I do think it's pretty funny how we have Preston Mattingly, who leads our farm system, which has not been good the last few years. And they're like, oh, let's go hire Don just to cap everything off. Again,
Well, I
I think
mean,
Don
Don has
Mattingly
no
is an
relation to the
excellent.
farm system, but
No. But
I mean,
I just
Preston,
think
he's
it's
the
they're just
new
hiring
general
that.
manager, but I guess his former role. But it goes back farther than that. Like it goes back to like the days of Scott Kingery and the days of J.P. Crawford. Like it goes back to like even before Nola. Like this goes back for decades.
The Rube era.
Yeah, it literally goes back to Ruben Amaro Jr. The Phillies.
Well, he talks about Nola all the time. Oh my goodness.
I guess the only thing he's got. But
Yeah.
the farm system lack of development, it all has all led to where we are today, and just not being able to just throw money at problems because you can't just do that. It's not how it works. You got to have something else. So I wrote a whole story on that on phillysportsports.com. It's better written than it is said. So go check that out. But yeah, Aiden Miller. Are we gonna see him this season? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we'll see him.
Oh, in Reading, or are we gonna see him in Philadelphia?
No, in Philadelphia.
When, Colin? Tell me.
Oh, not soon, but July.
I think this really depends on. I think it depends on Bohm. Like because he is on an expiring contract, he'll be free agent after the season. Like if he's playing okay by the deadline, which got moved back like a week. It's like the first week of August now.
Oh, that's really weird. I don't like that.
So if he's playing well and you try to move him, is that time Aiden Miller? He also has to play well in
Oh, for sure.
Of course, he's got to play well in the minors, but I think if what it looks like is if Bohm is having a good year, they could move him and then bring up Aiden Miller, or kind of could go with Stott. Like if he's playing well, you move him. Maybe Aiden Miller plays second. Aiden Miller learn the outfield, maybe like.
Well, you saw my thunder, Ben.
Around.
I was just gonna say, with the one really good thing about Aiden Miller is you have so much flexibility there, and I guess you shouldn't say Aiden Miller because you're right. Like Trey Turner has flexibility, Bryce Harper, yeah, touchy subject, but yeah, Bryson Stott a ton. I mean, he can play anywhere to the left. Well, the right of him, yeah. When I think of a baseball field, I think like left side is third base, and I guess if you're on the field, it's the opposite.
This way, looking towards the right.
True. This is my bad catcher perspective coming into play, but
you're the one facing the other way. Aiden Miller last year, 264 average, 392 on base, 433 slug, an OPS of 825 between Reading and Lehigh Valley. He was only with Lehigh for 8 games. But I mean in those 8 games that he played, he hit 333 with a 1.03 OPS. So kind of tore it up against better pitching, which is good to see. It was only 8 games, but still good to see. Yeah, I think we see him. I agree. July could be a good time, but like if they're gonna bring him up, he's got to play every day. Like you can't bring him up
100%,
and he plays here and there. No, you can't. And that's been another problem is the Phillies don't commit to a guy in their farm system, and then they kill his developments with. Well, as we said so many times on this podcast, episode 98, by the way, we're approaching 100.
We are.
Yeah, we're almost there. We'll have a big celebration. Maybe that'll be when we start our tour.
Oh,
episode
that's good.
Our tour.
That's
but
good.
No, you can't go. He's 21 years old. Like there's so much time, but he seems ready.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he's the best prospect since Mike Schmidt. You know, you got to feel pretty good about it.
All right, here's a seamless transition. Ready? So we're saying, and I agree, is we got to make sure if Miller comes up, he's playing every day. Given Dave Dombrowski's statement about the outfield being set, are you worried that Justin Crawford might fall into that category of doesn't get every opportunity? Because remember, you got Marsh, you got Rojas, you've got Adolis Garcia now. Technically, Nick Castellanos is still on the roster, but he won't be. He won't be. So they say. There's no way he can
His
start the
money will
season
be
on the
on the roster,
roster.
but he won't be on the roster.
Right. So is there a chance that Justin Crawford falls into that category of not playing every day and that hinders his development?
I think Justin Crawford's going to play every day. I think the
Where do you
Phillies.
draw that line, though?
That's where what they were saying last year is they didn't bring him up because he wasn't going to play every day. So
Right.
that's what their reason was. Where do I draw the
But
line?
because Marsh needs to play every day.
Well, I mean, Marshall being left, Crawford's in center.
Right. And then so right now, what's your outfield layout?
Well, it sounds like you're platooning Otto, Kemp, and Marsh in left. You got Crawford in center, you got Garcia in right. Is what it is looking like, which good or bad, it is what it is. But they're going to give Justin Crawford a shot. Whether he has a good or bad spring, it really just sounds like he's going to be starting in center field. Because what else do you have? Like
You
they're
put
betting
Kemp in
the
left
Phillies.
and Marsh in center.
The Phillies
But
are betting a lot on Justin Crawford.
yeah, God, yeah.
They're pushing all their chips into the center of the table, hoping that Justin Crawford works.
All in, Ben.
They're all in on this kid. And I mean, I love him. I wouldn't say I love him. I've never actually watched him play, but good defensively. He hits for a very high average. Hit 334 last year.
Negative launch
The
angle,
only
but
problem is
we'll get there.
he drives the ball, but it just goes right into the ground. But he's fast. He beats it out. It's going to be very different in the majors.
Oh yeah.
You got to give him time. Like as a city, we're very impatient. But Justin Crawford, 22 years old, 53rd ranked prospect. You're gonna have to give him some time, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to give him time. I'm willing to give him all. I don't have a lot of confidence in this team, so you might as well give Justin Crawford what he needs to succeed with this team this season. So I don't know if I have a line. I think you just ride it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have any other choices for how they're going to proceed with this, but I just worry that if Kemp and Marsh both start the season off playing well, and Crawford, as you'd expect, gets out to some early struggles, they're gonna, say, oh, we're gonna give him some days here and there. But is that really helping him?
You
I
gotta
don't think
let
so.
him fly. You gotta let him fly.
I know. But I'm saying I think it's really easy if you're the manager. If you come out of this, because Marsh every year starts the season hot. That's been a trend over the last 3 years. So if Marsh comes out of the gate swinging like he normally does, and Otto Kemp is hitting 300 like he did when he came up at the beginning of last year, it's going to be and Crawford struggles like many new major league players do. It's so easy just to say, all right, yeah, we want to give him a day here and there to acclimate, but you actually acclimate by playing in the game.
Yeah.
And I understand that you got to put the best 9 in, but you got to think about the best 9 in March and then compare that to what the best 9 is going to look like in September. Because more than likely, Justin Crawford, if he gets the opportunity he deserves, will be one of those best 9 in October, even if that's not the case in March. But to get there, he has to play every day in March. It's a non-negotiable.
I think it sounds like they're gonna give him every opportunity. Dombrowski's excited about him. Rob Thompson's excited about him. Also has to have
that's true.
Also, a lot of this is, what if he doesn't have a good spring? What if he struggles against major league pitching in spring? You could start to question some things. No matter what, it sounds like he's going to be everyday starting center fielder, and we're going to have to be patient. As a fandom, as we're not credentialed journalists, but as journalists, we're going to have to be careful, or we're going to have to be patient, I should say. He's 22 years old, man. Like, he's going to come up, he's going to drive the ball into the ground, and hopefully Kevin Long can work with him, and it'll get figured out. We'll see.
So now we're putting all our coins in the Kevin Long basket.
I mean, it helped Juan Soto,
Yeah, this is true.
So,
all right, Ben, is it time for art class? Do a little painting.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Who's your favorite like artist, like painter?
Ooh.
I like Van Gogh.
So
It's a good
I
name.
did. He's the ear guy, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he is. I did a project in 6th grade on
Okay.
Claude Monet. So I guess I'm a Claude Monet fan by default. I don't really know
Yeah,
actually.
I'm a
Um,
Vinny guy. I like Vincent.
Wait, you know what? This is not really related to art, but it's related to colors, and colors are part of art, so they say. I don't really dabble with the arts, but got this from one of my friends for Christmas. Ready? Ready? Hold on. Give me a moment.
Let's see here.
This is underwhelming.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. For those who are not watching,
Oh
Colin's
my
got a
gosh, I forgot. Oh, it's blinking. I haven't even gotten
whoa.
this
All right.
far
Colin's
yet.
got a Phillies beanie on and it's got some lights going around the P. It's blue, it's
Yeah.
green, it's purple, it's green, it's again, now it's rainbow, blue, red, all different colors. Andrew Painter was throwing out looking some a little different last year. Some
Gotta
different
turn this
colors.
off.
Had a 5.26 ERA in
Turn off.
118 innings in the minors, Colin.
Sorry.
First year off
If
Tommy
you
John, Andrew Panther was terrible. What's going on? Is he gonna be the opening day starter?
oh,
Or in
please
the open
God
day
no.
roster? Like, am I gonna hear Dan Baker say his name on March 26th?
Not on March. Well, I guess yeah, they do announce the whole squad. Oh my God. Wow. I don't know. That's a fantastic question.
I don't
Um,
know either. Because
last year, I don't know.
I look at this
I'm lost.
rotation, and this is kind of combining our other segment. Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola. You then got 2 blank spots. You got Talon Walker, probably. And then do you have because Zach Wheeler is not going to be ready by opening day.
Not even close.
Do you
Well,
have Andrew Painter in that last spot, or do you go with a
well,
4-man? Because remember, you do have that off day.
4-man.
You go with the 4-man. You do have that off day after opening day. And it sounds like Wheeler could be back in April, is what Matt Gelb was reporting on WWE Network the other day.
What?
So you go
Okay, that's
Sanchez
not
off
happening.
day, and then it's really like the 5th day at that point because you got that off day with Sanchez. You know what I'm saying?
They're not doing that.
You feeling
No, no. That's never. You cannot start the season with a 4-man rotation. I mean, that's like that's like dog days of August fighting for a playoff spot, and our best pitcher just like hit the shelf.
Colin, look at this roster, man. We're already in the dog days. It's February. Like we're talking
No,
about Ian Miller coming up. He's 21 years old. Like
no, they'll
$300 million
slot a
roster.
bullpen
We're
arm
talking
in.
about
They'll do a
this is
bullpen game.
Phillies have the 2nd highest payroll in baseball, and we're talking about prospects. Do you understand? This is so ridiculous. Back-to-back NL East champs, and we're talking about. I feel like Allen Iverson. We're talking about prospects. Like this tells you where we are right now. We're talking
not the
about
big money guys. We're talking about
Aiden Miller right now.
These are like little babies. They're like 3 years older than us. What the heck? Oh man, no, it's I don't even have a good answer for this. No, because they're not gonna do a 4-man rotation. They shouldn't put Painter in there because he was awful last year. Like he has not figured out post Tommy John pitching yet. Well, post Tommy John 2.0 pitching, but
here's this. What if Andrew Painter goes out and he has a really good spring? Like he's lightening up. Then do you have him in there or do you still wait it out for a couple months? Because like it's either 2026 or bust with Andrew Painter. He got drafted 2021? Like it's been a long time. This guy was
I think he's fighting for a roster spot.
He was the top ranked prospect at one point.
Yeah, he's fighting for a roster spot this spring. But my question is like, the bullpen right now isn't strong. You don't have a 5th starter. Even if Painter's mediocre in the spring, do you have another choice? I don't know. Because like who's gonna be in a bullpen game? And then can you rely on having a competitive bullpen the other 4 days? Probably not. Because let's be honest, with Nola, you're gonna need the bullpen. With Walker, you're really gonna need the bullpen. So you might not be comfortable trotting 9 innings out of the bullpen every 5th day. It's not feasible. So yeah, I mean, you might be forced to slot Andrew Painter in there because they're low on options.
Is that could kill his development? That could be you're forcing him into a role that he's not ready for yet, and then he gets lit up, and you don't kill him, but you ruin what he could be. And this goes back to our previous talk about the lack of development, because you look at the pitchers in the minor leagues of the Phillies farm system right now, and it's really nothing inspiring. I mean, there's a couple guys down there, but no major league talent outside of Andrew Painter. It all goes back to how suited your farm system is, and with the Phillies, when you have very little major league talent for the last decade that's been developed into really anything, you're left with holes that you can't just throw money at, because that's not how everything works. So
underlying theme here, Ben.
there is a lot of underlying themes here. And also, when you have almost $90 million mixed into 2 players, that kind of doesn't. That doesn't help. One of them will not be on the roster this season. So the underlying message here of this episode is have a farm system, and things will be good.
Things will be great.
Things will be great if you had a farm system.
If you can have an average farm system in the, what would we say, second highest payroll in baseball.
Yeah.
I need to grow some more fingers for all the rings we're going to get. But, I don't know where I think I'm getting a ring. I'm just along for the ride, barely. But someone would need more fingers. Dave Dombrowski would need a couple hands. But
so that's where we're at.
That is where we are at.
But
sad.
Well, it is sad. But one thing that is not sad is how much money you can save at SeatGeek, because SeatGeek is awesome. They sponsor the podcast. Go over to SeatGeek. Buy your tickets for anything, whether it's baseball coming up. We'd start spring training games in like a month. This is absolutely insane. Less than a month, actually. We got baseball. We got the Super Bowl, because I know everyone's going out to the Super Bowl. We got NBA, NHL playoffs are coming up very soon. We got a lot of things going on. Comedy, concerts, whatever you want. It's all on SeatGeek. Go download the SeatGeek app. Use code Phillies Sports Report, PHILLYSPORTS REPORT. Again, that's Phillies Sports Report. Colin, what are you doing with that S?
Hold the S, just like we're holding Nick Castellanos at the security gate at Clearwater. He's not allowed in.
Not allowed.
Neither is the S.
There you go. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show and the podcast. Colin, that's all we got.
That's it. It's been slow. Everybody's just waiting around for
Harrison Bader to the Giants. We didn't really talk about that.
I'm broken. I know.
We knew it wasn't going to happen, but just,
No, he wanted. I got to turn the lights off.
So what? He got 2 years, 20. Like he got Adolis Garcia. Him and Adolis Garcia have the same.
It was a steal.
Like, why did the Phillies jump on Adolis Garcia when they could have waited, maybe get him for cheaper? Back to
I was upset about that. Can't throw money at the problem.
It all comes back. So, Framber Valdez is the only big free agent remaining on the market.
Could he starter?
No.
Probably not. Don't kid yourself.
All right. Thank you all for watching, listening to the podcast. We will see you soon. Hopefully, a little bit more positivity to talk about. But pitchers or catchers, 2 weeks, Colin.
2 weeks.
See you.
Go Phils.